be November 1st. Welcome to the NFL, kid. Here's Aaron Donald and the Rams, and he will have some big shoes to fill right now. Ryan Fitzpatrick is playing great. He ranks in the top 10 in both QBR and completion percentage, and has the team just one game back of the Bills for first place in the AFC East. And frankly, if you follow them, you see their losses have been pretty good too. They had a lead in the fourth quarter against Seattle. They had a chance to win that game that they've lost earlier against Buffalo. So, Dominique, does this move make sense to you to make right now?
Yeah, I think you get better by getting experience and getting out on the field. I like them putting them out there. The one criticism I would have of this move, I can't have that criticism of them because of Brian Flores. So I think back to last season when we all thought they were tanking, and I was very critical because of what I thought it does to a culture. When you say we're playing for the future, that debilitates a team that wants to win right now. But Brian Flores somehow brought them from 0-7 start to being respectable because he was able to build a culture in that environment. I also think if you're going to pull out a starting quarterback that's playing pretty well to bring in a young guy, that suggests to your team that you are playing for the future. But I think Brian Flores has proven that that doesn't matter. Whatever connection that he has with his team is a connection that Mike McCarthy clearly doesn't have with his team in Dallas, but it's a connection that allows you to make some decisions that seem not all that wise, but also resonate with your team.
RC, you're an LSU guy, so no one knows the Alabama quarterback better than the LSU guy. What do you expect from him quickly?
What you expect from Tua is to get the ball out of his hands, to be accurate, and to understand what the game plan is, whether that's use Gaskin, Gesicki, or we're going to go outside to Preston Williams and Devontae Parker. This is going to be a run-and-catch team early on in Tua Tagovailoa's acclimation, and I believe they understand that, and that's why you want to have these 2 weeks, a bye week in between his first start, to get him settled and to get your team playing in the way that Tua needs them to.
Obviously, Desmond Howard, you cover the college game for us at the highest possible level. You saw all the things we don't need to go over again. The terrible injury that he suffered at the end of his collegiate career. Now he sits and waits and gets his chance. What are your thoughts on the way this all played out for Tua, and what do you expect?
Well, I think it couldn't have played out better for Tua. I mean, for a young man to go through the collegiate season that he had with those injuries and still get picked in the first round, I think is tremendous. Now, moving forward, I believe that Brian Flores and his staff, they love what they see from this young man in practice. They feel as though there's no longer a reason to hold him back. I understand what Fitzpatrick has done for this organization, but now they're playing for the future. And let's face it, I mean, Tua is a guy who, like Ryan said, he's amazingly accurate. Only thing he has to do, his biggest problem was holding on to the ball too long, trying to make plays, and that's how he ended up dislocating his hip. So if he's erased that from his game, and we won't know until we see him out there on the field, but they know because they see him every day at practice, then I think he'll be okay. And he does have weapons like Penn State's tight end Gesicki. He has the wideouts on the outside. That means he can get the ball out and get the ball out in rhythm, too. So I think this is going to be an interesting move. Now, with the bye week, I understand another week of preparation. But then you got to face one of the best, if not the best, defensive lineman in all college, in all of the NFL, and Aaron Donald. That may be an issue because he's going to be looking at Donald when he's in his cadence.
We'll see how that plays out. Brian Flores, the coach of the Dolphins, is meeting with the media in about 10 minutes, so we'll be able to turn some of what he says around and play it back for you. Meanwhile, Graziano, I know you were talking to a lot of people yesterday. Take us into the thinking of Brian Flores and the Dolphins on the timing.
Yeah, if basically they believe that Tua gives them the best shot to win now and attain their goals, which are, the postseason. They're a game out of first place. So it's not a let's see the kid, we're not going anywhere this year anyway kind of move. So they decided they wanted to give him that 2-week window during the bye week. The bye week, because of the reschedulings, got moved up from week 11 to week 7. So they look and say, is he ready now? Do we want to put that plan into place? And the answer was yes. Dominique's point, very important. Brian Flores has the trust of his team. Last year, when the external talk was, are they tanking? Flores is saying, no, we're not. And he had Josh Rosen playing quarterback that they were trying to take a look at for the future. He switched to Fitzpatrick. And when I asked people why, I was told, look, it was so obvious in practice that Fitzpatrick gave them the better chance. There's no way Flores could have sold the we're not tanking narrative internally if he didn't make that move. So his team trusts him, and they believe him now when he says Tua is a move to help us win now.
And so might they win this division? That's the object of my poll today. So you can go to my Twitter page at ESPN Greeny and vote. Who will win the AFC East? Those are the options that I put up today. Will it be the Bills, the Dolphins, the Patriots, or other?
Anybody else. Could be anybody else.
It could be. I mean, it could end in a tie.
Green team.
They could decide not to finish the
Red
season.
team.
There are any number of things that could happen. So you can vote for other if you'd like to. Right now, that has 3% of the vote. All right, let's talk about quarterbacks that are struggling. RC, is it time for panic or patience in Minnesota with Kirk Cousins?
Did Trey not panic when the car stopped and screamed, Ricky? Because that's how I feel right now. It is boys in the hood for me. Kirk Cousins, the guy who you bet the form on, you've given 2 different contracts, has wide receivers on the outside, but just can't win. 3 interceptions against the Atlanta Falcons, who just fired their head coach. When you're in Minnesota and you're thinking that Kirk Cousins can lead you to the promised land, you are obviously delusional. It is time to panic, and it should have been in the offseason.
Dez, panic or patience in New York with Daniel Jones?
Everybody relax and be patient. Don't forget, this young man had an outstanding rookie campaign, 24 touchdown passes, led all rookie quarterbacks with that number. Now he has a new offensive coordinator. He's trying to learn this system. Don't forget, we had the COVID-19 during the offseason, so it affected everybody. But it doesn't affect anyone more so than a quarterback who's trying to learn the new system. He's going to start eliminating those turnovers, though, because those are in his hands. I say be patient.
Neek, panic or patience for Baker in Cleveland?
I absolutely think it's panic for Baker in Cleveland. It's patience for that coaching staff, and I think Andrew Berry, the general manager, they just got there. They're new. So I think it's patience for them, but I think Baker's future is very much in question, considering the fact that they need to decide on that 5th-year option at the end of this year, and he's shown us nothing that suggests that he's anything above an average quarterback. And Boys in the Hood was on BET last night. I watched it too, Ryan. Is that what brought in your mind? Ricky Baker, great running back.
BET still shows movies?
Let's talk a little bit more about Baker Mayfield for a moment here, if we can. This is year 3, and so far this season, he is struggling to find his form. Ranks among the bottom 3rd among quarterbacks in any number of statistics, so he's not playing well. And yesterday, Marcus Spears minced no words on this show talking about him.
We went through coaches. We went through acquiring all the talent. We went through creating a playbook and an offensive plan to hide your deficiencies. He's an average quarterback to below average. That's who he is.
That got a lot of attention yesterday, Ryan Clark. Swagoo saying he is an average to below average quarterback. RC, is that true?
Yeah, Marcus ain't told no lies yet, and he wasn't going to start yesterday, because that is absolutely true. When I looked at the league and went around the divisions, there's about 22 quarterbacks I can say offhand that I would take before Baker Mayfield. And in a 32-team league, that makes you below average. Himbo shot me a stat this morning after the meetings. Against winning teams, he is 4-13. He has 29 turnovers to 24 touchdowns. That's below average quarterback play. And so you can look at it with your eyes and say, from my experience, this doesn't seem like a winning quarterback. But when the numbers tell you the same thing, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I truly have to start questioning, what do I do with Baker Mayfield, and can he be my answer and quarterback of the future?
Well, and Dan Graziano, let's explain why this season is so critical towards exactly that point.
First-round picks have 5th-year options on their contract. You have to decide prior to year 4 whether you're picking up the 5th-year option. So that means next May, the Browns have to make that decision on Baker Mayfield, whether they pick up his 2022 option. And under the new CBA, those options are fully guaranteed at the time that they are executed. It used to be only guaranteed against injury, and you could still back out of it if you had a bad year. Now they have to decide by next May whether they want to guarantee Baker Mayfield a 2022 season for something in the neighborhood of $25 or $30 million. The way he plays the rest of the year is going to go a long way toward making that decision for them.
So, Dominique, let's play a fun game of first guessing this. Let's not react after the fact. Let's first guess it. When this season is over, do you believe the Browns will pick up the 5th-year option on Baker Mayfield?
No, not at all. I'm not sure what you point to give you some hope going forward. I understand he was a #1 overall pick, but he has the body type that is unusual to succeed in that position. He used to have accuracy that made him special. That seems to be gone, and he hasn't really done anything special, even in the games that they won this year. Like, he played okay. He was all right, but they won because that running attack was very special. I'm not sure that there's very many quarterbacks in the league or starting quarterbacks in the league that couldn't do what he did in those games. So you're waiting for him to show something that's really unique and outstanding that is warrants the #1 overall pick or warrants your future going forward. He hasn't really done it, at least not consistency. You can think of a couple games here and there where the expectations were low and he met or exceeded those expectations. But when the expectations were high, he's fallen short time and time again, and I hate to see it because I like the personality. I like the brash. I personally like the commercials. He's a phenomenal actor, but you got to learn how to throw some touchdowns and not interceptions in this league if you want to hang around and keep getting those commercials.
Right, and if not, the future might be in acting more than it is in football. I don't mean to be funny, but that's the reality. That's where Mitchell Trubisky is right now, without a deal for next year, and that's where Baker could be this time next season. Meanwhile, let me get up and go through some of the other news of yesterday. The Washington football team still might be going by that name next year. That's according to their team president, Jason Wright. He cited the NFL's deliberate approval process as the reason. Not to mention, a lot of people seem to like it, but that's neither here nor there. Elsewhere, the Saints and the city of New Orleans announced an agreement to have a limited number of fans starting Sunday. They'll start with 3,000 tickets for season ticket holders, and if the numbers on COVID cases remain stable, attendance could increase next month.